I don't think this is gonna work. Y'all some noisy ones, huh?
So we are actually walking to the train station from my school, and you can see we're out in the boonies. We in no man's land. Hello, beautiful people.
I'm Justin.
I'm Leah. Thank you for joining us and welcome to our channel.
We make videos to share with you what our life's been like since we decided to get up, get out, and get gone. In today's video, we're going to talk about some of the unexpected out-of-pocket expenses we've had to pay getting settled here in Taiwan.
Before we get started, if you enjoy the content that we're sharing, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button.
Share with all of your friends, family, cohorts, enemies. Share with your enemies, I don't care. You can also follow us over on Instagram because we like to put up some dose of the daily stories. You can check out what we get up to regularly. We're nearly 4 months into this relocation, and we're finding out now that we've spent a little bit more than what we expected to spend relocating here to Taiwan. Now, we made a video about the costs associated with moving to Taiwan during a pandemic, and we thought we were quite comprehensive. But as we've begun to notice, there have been a lot of out-of-pocket expenses that we just couldn't have anticipated.
Before we get into this, let me just say that Justin and I did a lot of research before we relocated to Taiwan. We hit up a lot of expat Facebook groups, we read a lot of blogs, we watched a lot of YouTube videos, and with our offer letter, it was suggested that we arrive in Taiwan with $1,500 to float us for the first 30 days.
One of the first major unexpected expenses was having to get a COVID-19 test. Now, that's not something we thought we were going to have to do. I mean, what's the point of quarantine after all, right? But our schools insisted, and there we were shelling out nearly 5,000 NTD a piece to get tested for that nasty pandemic virus.
Another unexpected expense was opening our bank accounts. In previous jobs that we've had, we've been assigned a partnership bank that works with our schools, in which the account is just open until we get paid. In this instance, we had to shell out money in order to open the account.
But before we could open up our account, we had to get these official signature stamps. And they don't cost very much, and I think they're pretty cool, but it was yet another unexpected expense to have to pay for something that's required to do any kind of banking transaction from the get-go until our remaining time here in Taiwan.
I do receive a travel stipend that is supposed to cover my transportation that I take to get to and from work. And the stipend that I'm given is not nearly enough to cover all of the transportation costs that I have to incur every month.
Because you're out here.
So we are actually walking to the train station from my school, and you can see we're out in the boonies.
Now, of course, having a SIM card is not an unexpected expense. We knew that we would have to get SIM cards, obviously, right? But just because we're foreigners, we had to pay a deposit. And it wasn't a small deposit. It was nearly 3,000 NTD for each of us. And it's not that big of a deal, but still, come on. You know, before we could pay all of these unexpected expenses in cash, we first had to exchange our USD into NTD. And we did that quite easily the first time we came to Taiwan as tourists. But this time around, we had to get things settled up pretty quickly. We had to get legal the first day out of quarantine. And that required us to go to the bank and exchange money immediately so we could start paying these other expenses that we hadn't planned for. And that didn't give us a chance to shop around and find the best rates. And the fees varied from bank to bank, especially because of the large amount that we were exchanging. And the exchange rate wasn't consistent between the banks either. So we lost a lot. So there were certainly other nickel and dime expenses that we can't even think of right now, but it started adding up. However, the greatest unexpected expense thus far, getting settled in our new apartment, which we made a video about what surprised us about renting here in Taiwan, which you can see here. So we thought a deposit would be reasonable, right? We know we had to leave a deposit. What we didn't know is it could be up to 3 times the amount of your first month's rent. On top of that, when we went to sign the lease, no one said anything about key money. So I had to cough up some key money, which luckily I had just enough, literally walked out of the agent's office with $0 in my wallet. By and large, the greatest unexpected expense was furnishing our apartment. We did not expect to have to come in and buy all of our house products, linens, towels, dishes, silverware. We actually had to buy a cooktop because, like we said in our previous videos, you don't actually get guaranteed a stove, even a refrigerator necessarily. We didn't have to buy that. And then we have to buy a bed and a mattress,
yes,
and a sofa. And when you add all this up, we're looking at nearly 40,000 NTD. Easily. So any country you go to, you're gonna have these surprise moments, and how you manage them will determine how well you acclimate to the new culture.
When relocating to a new country, having flexibility is key.
And we've traveled around enough to know that you gotta go with the flow.
As always, we leave you with this question. When was the last time you did something for the first time?
Remember, it's never too late to get up, get out, and get gone.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next video.